And welcome to our first T3, our Timely Topic Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about T3s and what they are, and also CDMs. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I have with me Sarah Payne. She's the other Career Coach Specialist from Region 8, and I'm Amy Neal, Career Coach Specialist from Region 8. So the way these are going to work is we have three C's in our T3s. The first 5 minutes, we're going to give you some context. We're going to tell you why it's important, whatever we're talking about for the day. And then we're going to dig into the content. We're going to give you new information, hopefully. We may have some guest speakers. We may have information that's updated from the state, but we'll be giving you some rich content. And then we're going to reserve that last 30 minutes of time to connect. So that would be the time that you would have to ask questions of each other and really connect with others that are doing this work. Because we know that as this work happens in schools, it's often one or two of you in a school or in an entire district that's doing this work in a silo. So we want to offer that opportunity for you to find others that are doing this work in other schools and give you that time to connect. So first, the context of our topic today. And the way we're going to do this is, why is this work important to schools? So first we'll answer that question. Then we're going to talk about, how does it support what's next for our students? So why is it important to students? And finally, why is this topic timely? Is there some time element to it? Oops, wrong way there. Here we go. So first of all, why is this topic important to schools? Today's topic, CDMs, it's important because it's the law. So House Enrolled Act 1002, 2023, CDMs became required. Each student is required in the 11th and 12th grade to have a CDM, or a career discovery meeting. And so lots of you probably are familiar with this, but if not, here's the information about CDMs. So they are to occur on school property in person, with not more than 5 students to one adult during school hours. And they're supposed to be 30 minutes, 25 of those minutes talking about the career opportunities for a student. And that last 5 minutes can be used for record keeping. And so that's just something to keep in mind. So the work that we do at Region 8 does cover this. And what we're going to talk about preparing our students for CDMs is going to be meeting this criteria. So how does it support what's next for students? The work that we've been doing at Region 8, we've been focusing on this EKI guide. You've probably heard us talk about this before. If not, it's also on our website, discoveryournext.org. So we ask the questions, what do students love? And ask about that self-awareness piece. We talk about what the world needs. So that career awareness, do students know about careers? What can you get paid to do? So you really have to have that financial literacy piece and think about, what kind of life do I want to live? Is that enough money? And what you're good at. So what skills do you have? And so we have little pieces that intersect. So we have like that agile work profiler that really covers what a student loves and what their skills are. And then we have what a student loves and what the world needs, right? So you've got those career explorer tools that can sort those things out. And we have those career explorer tools on the Agilities website. What the world needs and what you can get paid to do. We have regional online resources for that as well. Also, there are some more additional tools on agilities.org and on our website. And then what you're good at and what you can get paid to do. We have lots of opportunities in work-based learning. Our expert on work-based learning is Holly Shaley, and she can help you out with that as well. So we have lots of supports in place for work-based learning as well. But in the middle of that, I want to point out is that student-led CDM. And so bringing all of this information together in the middle, it's important that students bring all of this together in a CDM, and they're explaining and sharing with others what their answers to these questions are. And why is it timely? Well, your new MOUs for this new grant period, they do get you a waiver through this school year and next, so you don't need to worry about getting this requirement right away. But beginning in that 2027-28 school year, you will need a sustainable system for implementing these CDMs in 11th and 12th grade. And in our new MOU that you all signed, there is some new language around CDMs. So the first year, we were just asking that you were aware of them and that maybe you tried some out and piloted. This year, we're getting a little bit more explicit. We're turning that up a notch, and we're asking that you participate in the implementation of a student-led CDM during this academic school year and that you report that out to us. This does not have to be all of your 11th and 12th graders, but we'd like you to pilot something and submit a limited number of samples to Region 8. And so we really are asking that we get some samples here. We're starting to calibrate what these look like so we can be sharing and helping each other out and figuring out the best way to make this sustainable for all of our participants in our grants. So that was really our context, why this matters, why this topic was top of mind for everyone when we asked. Before we jump into our content for today, I do want to remind you of our resources. We have that Discover Your Next website. I talked about that already. It is linked in this slide deck. The slide deck will be available to you. So discoveryournext.org. We're always adding new things to it. We have updates constantly. Also, that monthly newsletter. Sarah's always working on that and getting that out once a month. And Sarah, when is that again? I'm sorry. I know
It's
that.
the third Thursday of every month.
Okay, third Thursday. And if you're not on that mailing list and you want to get on that mailing list, let us know and we can get you on that mailing list. It's great. And then the third thing, this is new, and I want to make sure you're aware of it. We have a Next Resource Hub. So we have things on the website, but we also have something new here. And it is going to be where we post all of the resources for all of our trainings coming up. So we have new this year, the T3s, so the Timely Topic Tuesdays once a month. And then we also have our collaboration meetings, which are not new, but we are going to make sure we have one a quarter, and they're already all scheduled for the next 18 months. And all of our resources for all of those, plus all of our agilities trainings, are going to be on one document, and all of the resources are going to be there after every time we have one. We're going to post the resources. So, including slide decks, links, any deliverables that we share are all going to be in one place. So, I can show you that towards the end. It's pretty handy. Okay, so jumping into content then. For career discovery meetings, we have some things that are tools that have been crafted in partnership with our grantees from the last grant round, and we will create more and more as we go. And when you say you need something, we'll come together, figure out what that needs to look like for you, and we'll create it. But this is what we have right now. First of all, we have this document, and this is again a work in progress. This is just a sample of what it might look like for CDMs. We want to point out that this journey is starting in eighth grade. So we don't expect this to start 11th grade, right? This is going to be something that students get familiar with this process in eighth grade. They do it again freshman year, they do it again sophomore year, and then by junior year and senior year, it should be old hat, right? They're just revising that plan that they've been working on since eighth grade. And so you think about that in eighth grade, they are planning what looks like that next plan, but instead of saying what their career is, they're saying, okay, what's my pathway plan for high school? What's next for me? And then, so they're answering those questions, right? And so they're saying, what's next? By ninth grade, they're really making that decision. Do I plan on enrolling, enlisting, or employment? And so they're starting to narrow it down, but they're also still answering that question, what's next for me? Then by sophomore year, they're getting into that career exploration. They're thinking about work-based learning. Do I plan on doing an internship? What does that look like for me as I explore careers more seriously? By junior year, then, you really do need to start knowing the answer to those four next questions. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. I have a whole slide about those. At this point, this is an official CDM. We would suggest by junior year, it would be a class presentation or something that they can do virtually, but getting in front of people and presenting this, receiving feedback from a mentor, and getting into that place where you're adjusting your plans if necessary. So what you decided in eighth grade, that might have been your career, probably by 11th grade has shifted. But again, it's giving them an opportunity every year to go through that process again and adjust as needed. And then by senior year, this is really more of that next interview. You're going to get in front of community members, a mentor, some trusted adults, and really, this is that celebration time. So students, this is not starting from square one. This is just putting the finishing touches on this is where I'm headed next. And us as a community, a school community, and a larger community celebrating the success that they know where they're headed. So again, this is just a sample of how your school might roll this out, but we want you to personalize it for your community in your own context. Okay, so that's one piece. We want you to be thinking about your bigger plan. So again, going back to empowering the students to do this work. So again, that's at the core of what we believe makes this sustainable, is that this is the students leading. We're not hiring outside consultants and coaches to come in. That just piece didn't feel sustainable when we talked to schools at the very beginning of this work. So it's the students leading this work, and they're answering these four questions. First, who am I? So discovering more about themselves, that self-awareness piece. Then moving into where am I going, making those decisions about the three E's, looking at career pathways and kind of getting that broad knowledge there. Then really moving into how do I get there? So understanding, having those guided conversations around what does that take to reach those goals? What are the action steps to get there? And then finally, getting really down to the nitty gritty. What's my next step? What is the next action that I need to take? This word next keeps coming up. And of course, we've probably all discussed this with you as well, but that was really powerful and important when we talked to young people, when we discussed this brand and the name of our program, because we want it to be not overwhelming. And really, this is a high anxiety point for young people. If this isn't decide right now what you're going to do for the rest of your life, but just what's next, just what's the next logical step that you need to take. So, as we think about this framework of our steps, we want to remind you that we also, another big part of our program is agilities. And so, agilities has resources and tools for all of these questions. So, the first one, who am I? Well, the first step is to take that agilities assessment, the Agile Work Profiler. And so, it's going to give them of those 10 agilities, which skills do I already have? And that helps them answer that question of who am I? There are lots of other assessments on our website. We recommend 2 further assessments that are going to help answer that question, who am I? But we would always start with agilities. And if you have not started implementing that in your school, that's probably the first step we would recommend. The next question, where am I going? On the Agilities website, agilities.org, we have a link here that you can click that's going to take you right to these resources. But in these resources, we have lots of Career Explorer tools that's going to help students once they've taken their agilities. It's going to recommend some pathways for them, some different career places that they might get started that are going to really match up with their agilities. So I'm going to ask Sarah real quick here. Is there anything you want to add about some of these tools? Because I know we've spent a lot of time digging into these Career Explorer tools that we find really valuable as we work with students.
I would just add that they're all really great depending upon where your students are in that discovery process. I think it's well, and I suppose depending on the student, right? Some students care about where they want to be geographically. So there's tools around, I want to stay in the Midwest. So they can do a tool that helps them identify where are job opportunities based upon their strengths and skills that land them where they want to be in different parts of the country. There are tools that allow them to filter out where they want to be based upon the education attainment that they want to have. There are tools that allow them to use filters that give them chances to filter based upon the job functions that they want to have and give them different resources based upon that. I mean, I love the idea that we are really giving them filters, but rather than narrowing down opportunities for students, what we find is it really expands the opportunities for them because they don't really realize when they think about some of the gifts and talents that they have, what that can do to expand what the opportunities that are available to them. So often, I think, we think about this idea that students have to see it to be it. And when we only see what's in our small little worlds, even for those of us who are adults and have experience in the world and have seen lots of different careers, we've only seen a fraction of what's out there. And so that's what I love the most about these Career Explorer tools is it gives students just a whole lot of opportunities to use these filters to expand the choices that they might not otherwise have the ability to see.
Awesome. Thank you so much for adding that. I couldn't agree more. Okay, and then our third question is, how do I get there? Again, Agilities has some great tools. There are specific lessons around resume building, building your network, which DeBruce has done tons of research around that being one of the number one indicators of success in your career is building a really strong professional network. And so lots of very specific lessons and lesson plans that are really turnkey. So slide decks for teachers at all different levels. So I have the high school lesson plans linked here, but just know that there are lots here and lots of different resources for students about growth mindset, but really career literacy and how do I build up this portfolio and how do I share what I'm learning about my career choices. So just really thinking, I mean, of course, also all of that other work-based learning experience comes in here, career fairs, job shadowing, all those other experiences, but just know that Agilities has a lot of resources for that. And then finally, what's my next step? So we just want to offer up this another place where we can run some more T3s as well. Planning this integration of Agilities and thinking about it doesn't just have to be the careers teacher or business teacher that's doing this work, but how do I integrate this throughout my whole school? Hosting parent nights, maybe thinking about adding in Agilities. We found that those can be really rich conversations when the parents take that assessment as well and talk about their own careers with their children at home. And again, thinking about this is a free assessment, so anybody can take it, which is really powerful. And just thinking about all those resources, but then customizing them to fit your school and your needs. So just again, thinking about what's my next step, not what's the rest of my life, but what's just my next step. So now getting into these resources to help students pull it all together. We have for you from the very beginning, I think one of the first tools we ever built were some of these rubrics that have the employability skills built in. So rubrics around how do I score the CDM and using those employability skills of communication and collaboration and work ethic. And so we have two different options here for you. One that has all of the skills built in with different, the first one here has different levels so students can think about their growth in these skills. The second one has a single point where you're really looking, here's proficient and here's what we're looking for. That one would be more appropriate if you're going to have a community member come in and help score these when students are doing that final 11th and 12th grade and you're looking for proficiency in these skills. And then finally, the new resource that we are introducing that some of you may have seen, but not all of you, is the CDM planning sheet. So in this purple box here are all the links to these resources. In the middle here, this is the example of that CDM planning worksheet. So before a student this does their CDM, this is just, if I fill out these boxes, answer these questions, it's my 4 questions. Who am I? Where am I going? How do I get there? Why is this my next step? It's going to walk them through these reflective questions to really help them get started. And really in a CDM, that's what we're hoping students do. It's just a low pressure situation where they're answering these questions and talking to someone very conversational and sharing their plan and answering these 4 questions.
And don't you think, Amy, I love the
I'm going to
idea that
stop
it's
that real
so
quick
that's
here.
okay. Didn't know
So
that was going to play
I
right
want to
away.
explain this before it gets going here. We actually had a video contest and we have a submission from East Noble. We called it Next Voices. And I'm going to let you watch this quick video from them. We're just empowering some students to share their plans on their next steps. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the beginning here. It's just a 3-minute video. If I can go ahead and got my 2 screens going on here and see if I can start it over from the beginning. We'll try that again. Okay, and I will get quiet and hopefully the sound will transfer here. Okay.
My name is America Guzman. I am in 12th grade and I plan on becoming an elementary teacher when I graduate high school.
My name is Andrew Oakes. I'm a senior here at East Noble High School, and I plan on attending either Ferris State University or the University of Purdue, West Lafayette for engineering.
Hi, my name is Chase Malcolm. I'm a senior at East Noble High School, and I am looking at going into the field of becoming a mechanic.
I'm Graydon Mullins. I'm a senior in high school, and I plan to attend IU University to study cybersecurity and global policy.
So a program at East Noble that helped me get ready for my career in education would have to be my ICE internship that I took with Mrs. Barnes throughout my junior and senior year. I also took Principles of Teaching, Child Development, and Teaching and Learning with Mrs. Ortiz throughout my sophomore and junior year.
Yeah, so at East Noble, we have a long line of different engineering and design-based classes where we start out with intro to engineering and design, and then we have principles of engineering, we have robotics, we have the physics, we have computer integrated manufacturing, as well as a lot of agriculture classes that also tie into those. So I'm taking them all, and those have helped me prepare for those engineering degrees and roles in the professional field.
I definitely think the internship has 100% helped me, just being able to get out there in the real world and be able to do some things that the school can't offer, but the school ag classes and robotics and engineering classes have also helped heavily with my future career after high school.
Well, my main career pathway I focused on has been computer science, and I've taken a lot of computer science classes to advocate for that. I've taken AP Computer Science Principles, I've taken software development, and I'm currently in digital application and responsibility. And then last year, in order to take this class, you have to take one of the AP computer science principles classes, and I took advanced cybersecurity last year to get me ready for the job I actually want to do out of college and high school.
From my own experience, East Noble prepares their students for life after high school by offering practical classes and real-life learning experiences. These opportunities help students discover their interest and gain skills that I think are important for their career, just like they did for me.
I would tell them that East Noble doesn't focus on making it easy for you to pass. They focus on making it easy for you to progress. They don't make it so that way the classes are easy and everybody gets a good grade. They make it so that way all the students that come out of here are the top of the line workers.
They care. They've tried doing new things. They've tried just about everything to make sure that we succeed in life.
From my own experience, I would say a teacher's choice to make an assignment hard isn't just to spite the student and like give them a lot of work. It's really to help them with like a large amount of work ethic that we need to build up for our actual jobs, because I want to work at like the NSA when I'm older. It's not like I'm just going to be sitting there at my desk every day not doing any work. I'm sure they're going to assign me a lot of tasks that things like Mrs. Kern are preparing me for. So I understand like the big workload.
All right, thank you, students from East Noble. Okay,
Cool,
so
yeah, I love those students that it's not easy to just pass. They make it easy to progress. Oh, so good.
you
Love
don't
that.
just do it for spite.
I love them.
The
Those
poor
were
bird
great
teacher in me
videos.
had to laugh at that. Okay.
They were great. Those were great videos.
Yeah. Okay, so our last question here, and if there is anybody that wants to put something in the chat, we're going to keep asking this question. This was our first Timely Topic Tuesday, but we want to know what topics, what speakers, what content do you need more information about? And again, you can email us at careercoaches at regional or Region 8. We'll put this information on the website, and it's everywhere. We'll plaster it everywhere. But what else do you need to know about? We're going to keep doing these, and we want to make sure that we're covering the topics that you need to hear about. So please let us know. And then we have reached the end of that content piece, but that third part is the connect part. But I do want to share what we are going to do is stop the recording for this third part. But while we're going to keep recording this first time so everybody knows what to do, we believe the answer's in the room. And we believe that bringing together, that's really the power of this program. The next program is that we get everybody in the room together and you help each other out with these questions as well. You're the experts. And so we do have some rules of engagement. We want to make sure everybody knows this is a judgment-free zone. There are no stupid questions, right? But we all have different levels of experience and knowledge. We all have different things we know about. We're here to support each other. We are going to ask if there's no recording during this portion. And so this is going to be the part where we turn off the recording. We'd ask that other people don't turn on their recording. We will put the questions and answers, though, in our next resource hub anonymously. So if we don't want that to be lost, right, other people may have that question, but we're not going to put your name next to it. You can be anonymous. And I just want to ask then again, are we missing anything? So as we go through this, if we're missing something, once we get to this portion, we'll ask, then we can add some rules of engagement if we need to. So I just want everybody to know that's how this part will work. You won't be seeing it on the rest of the video, but when we get to that portion, that's how that will go. And then next, your feedback matters to us. This is a QR code. We will be collecting feedback every time, so you can take a quick picture of this. We will also share out this link. You can fill that out at any time. It's really quickly just, what did you learn? What was useful to you? What can we do better? Does the format work? Does the timing work? Is it too long, too short? Content wasn't relevant. Please give us all the information. And then we will adjust as necessary. This is our first time, so we're learning right along with you. And we really value your feedback on that. And we just want to let you know what's next. We are going to continue doing these T3s. Our next one is April 7th. The topic is Job Ready 360 and how do we document a lot of this work. And then the next collaboration day, which we have quarterly, that is April 17th. Our next agilities training is April 21st. And so these are our next dates coming up in April. So please make a note of those. And then finally, here's our team again. So we have Cindy and Holly and Barb and Sarah and Amy. And so we're all here to support you. There are our email addresses. If you need those, you can pause and write those down. And that is all that we have for you today. But if you'd like to stay on, we will do our Connect section next. And we will see you next month for our T3. Thank you so much.